today we're going to show you how I edit pictures for beginners, fast and easy with mostly free programs. I use a program called Graxepert. It's free and I'll put the download link on the description. This is good for removing the gradients that usually come out after stacking and light pollution. Alright, so when you open up the program, it's going to look like this. And you go on your left hand side and we can start off with number 1, which is loading. And then load up your file that's already been stacked and calibrated. Okay, so when you load it, it automatically adds these sample points. So what you want to do is add a sample point everywhere but the galaxy or nebulosity. So just try to get the background. So right here, I know this is dark. It's just like a stacking artifact. So I'm trying to move it out of there because it might cause issues when removing the gradients. So I'm just gonna move these out of the way into the background. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so if you can't really see much, one thing you could do as well is on number 2, you can make it a bigger stretch. Like let's try 20%. And it'll make it more brighter so that you can see more of the velocity, so you can easily place your sample points. Alright, so one thing that does help is if you put it in between where there is no nebulosity, that helps also with the contrast. So put one here. So it looks like I got mostly everything that is a background. So now when you got this, if you had like a simple thing like a galaxy, you could also select the number 3 and click on create grid, and it automatically adds these sample points. And you could change the tolerance if it has too many or too little. So the more you put, the more it will tolerate and add more sample points. But in this case, it's kind of tricky, so we had to place it ourselves. So alright, so now we go to here. You could click on splines, RBF, and cranking. I usually pick splines at first and test it out. So we could go to calculate background and it's going to extract it. So let's see what we get. Alright, that is not that bad actually. That's pretty good. The only thing I don't like is this greenish area here. So let me put a little bit more placement points. Let me go back to original over here. And then let's try it, but this time we'll pick RBF. RBF seems to be my favorite usually when I do use this, so let's give that a try. Okay, so I see that there's a placement point right on the bright spot here. We don't want that, so let me move this out of the way and go back to original because that can make a difference. And let's give that a try one more time. Alright, so I kind of like the way this is looking. It doesn't look too bad. Let me put some more here. So what I'm trying to do here is put it on this greenish area. See if that helps a little. Alright, that should do the trick. I added a few more, and let's calculate the background one more time and see what we get. Alright, that looks great. If you look at the original, it has this dark area here, and now if we check out the process, it's kind of gone. I mean, huge difference, you know. So now this is more workable and I'm happy with the results. So I think we could go ahead and save this. You could save the process, which is this minus the stretch, or you could get it with the way it is with the stretch if you clicked on save stretch and process. So we're gonna save it, stretch and process. Let me see which stretch I like best, because now that we remove the gradients, we could pick different stretches, and the one that looks best you could work with. So this one looks good because it kind of darkens the background. So we're gonna save this one, which is the 15% stretch, and let's save it like that. And let me put it on the desktop and save it as tutorial. Alright guys, I'm gonna just save that, and then we're gonna open it up with Photoshop. One thing I forgot to mention is that if you're gonna take it to Photoshop, you gotta put 16-bit. For some reason, if I put 32, it comes out like washed out. So yeah, put 16-bit and save, stretch, and process. Okay guys, we got the previews here after using the Graxepert. So now since we have this black outline here, I'm gonna go ahead and use the crop in Photoshop. So let me crop out all the edges so it could be more cleaner. Give me one quick second. Okay, and then I'm gonna hit the check mark, commit. Alright, so now this is what we got here. Alright, so normally what I'd like to do is make a copy here, duplicate, right click on it, duplicate, and press OK. And then I go up here to where it says filter, camera raw filter. And then I like to start off with the effects, and I go to dehaze. And then based on what I see, I mess with it. Just give me 1 second here. I like to bring out the faint and velocity, and then clarity makes it a little sharper and brings out a little bit of it. So here we go. I like the way that's looking. And then after I get clarity and dehaze the way I want it, I go to color, and under color I change the temperature. Let's see what looks best. Okay, I know it's supposed to be blue, so we're going to bring it towards the blue side here. And then under light, I go to blacks, and actually I usually start off with contrast. So let me lower it, because I know that sometimes lowering the contrast brings some of the faint and velocity out. And then I mess with the blacks and try to see what's the best balance. Here we go, that looks about right. And then whites affects how bloated the stars are. You can't go too low because then it looks like a painting. But just try to minimize it as much as possible. And then shadows, it's just to bring down the background a little darker here. Just a tad bit, not too much. And then highlights, also you want to bring it down just a little bit so the stars aren't too bloated. Just go to you have to download this, and actually you can get the free trial. I know I said it's free and whatnot, but this is worth it. I think it costs like $40 at the moment. It's called Starshrink, and what this does is it shrinks the stars and it makes the velocity pop out more. I know it does cost a little bit, but you could try the free trial, and if you think it's worth it, then go ahead. If not, then it's up to you. You don't have to, it's optional, but I like it. It makes it look better. And I press OK here. Okay guys, so this before and after. It makes the velocity pop out just a little bit more. Okay, and after we got that, I see a little bit of gradient still, so let me go to adjustments, and then I go to curves, and then I try to bring down the bottom part here because that kind of covers the shadows a little, and then bring down the middle and make it just a little slightly brighter. And then let me go to the green because I see some green gradients that I don't like. So I'm going to anchor the middle. And then I'm going to bring down the darkness here. The dark areas of the picture. This is the background. Okay, and then I'm going to mess with the middle, see, so I can get the blue the way I want it, the blue color. Okay, let me mess with the reds just to make sure. So with the reds, I go to the middle and then just move it just a tad bit until you get the color that you want. This is really... So what I like to do is hide this one here with the eye and then merge visible. So right click on it and click merge visible so that curve is added to it. Alright, so after that I go back to camera raw filter, and here I like to go to color mixer and go to saturation and see if I can bring down some of that purple from the background. So let me bring this down a little bit, and then a little bit of the magenta, and then I go to hue and the same thing. I try to move it around so that it's not so noticeable. Effects, see if I could dehaze it a little more, or just a tad bit, maybe like 19. And then clarity, just a little bit, because if you go too much, then it starts looking like a like a drawing, and we don't want that. We want natural. I like natural looks, you know. Alright, so let me mess with the shadows because I kind of don't like how the background's kind of bright. So I'm going to bring this down a little bit here. And then blacks. There you go. So then highlights, let me bring it up a little so I can get some of that velocity a little brighter. Contrast. It's just kind of lower. It's just like -5. And then press OK. We go back to curves and see if I could lower all the channels. So anchor the middle while lowering the bottom part. Okay, so bring down the reds. Let me bring down the greens now. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the blues. Anchor the middle. And bring down some of that blue so it can kind of look a little bit more black, the background. Let's see. I'm going to try to move the green a little up. You know, it's just a little balancing act. So now I'm going to move the red a little bit until I find the right background color that I like. I'm going to go up to the hue and saturation. Go to saturation and bring it up a little. I like to bring it all the way to the max and slowly work my way down until I see the color that I kind of want. Let me try another curves to lower the background a little. Okay, it's just a tad bit. And then one thing also, it's also from the RC Astro website I can put in the description below. It's called Noise Exterminator. This removes the noise. You have to have the image selected, and then when you run it, it reduces the noise in a non-destructive way. And I'll show you the results right now. Before and after. It's before and after. So you can see it removed a lot of the noise. Go back to filter, camera raw filter, go back to effects and dehaze it one more time. So you can bring out a little tiny bit more of the, I mean, you can also make it darker if you like it like that, but I want to bring out a little bit more of the net velocity, so I'm going to dehaze it just a little bit, like -2, and then it's just +2 on the clarity, maybe a little bit more dehazing. And then color, let me go back and try to balance that color out. Shadows, let me bring that down a little. Blacks, bring it down a little. Not too much, just to whatever looks good for the background. Alright, that looks about right. Alright guys, and then highlights, again, just try to balance it out. I'm going to put it a little bit high because the stars need more brightness. And the contrast, I'm going to just increase it by 1. Okay, so I'm going to click save. This curve, maybe I need to mess with the blue a little. So I'm going to go back to the blue because the background's a little too much. So let me bring it down just a tad bit. Okay, and then the green looks a little strong, so let me mess with the green real quick. Okay, that looks a lot better. Okay, let me crop it one more time because I do see that it has a little bit of purplish at the edge right here that I really don't like. Maybe another saturation, see how it comes out. Just a tad bit. And then let me look at the color balance just to make sure that everything's fine. Let's try to... Okay guys, so this is my tutorial on how you can edit a picture real quick with mostly free programs. Like I said, the Starshrink from RC Astro is not a requirement, but it definitely does help if you guys want to give that a shot. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.